something good. Even through the deepest valley, you go before me, you are here. For I know you'll never leave me, your love surrounds me, I won't fear. When I'm broken and down to nothing, I know that you are always up to something good. I know that you are always up to something good. You'll make a way, whatever it takes. There's nothing your love won't endure. I know that you are always up to something good. Through the darkest night, you are on my side. You are always faithful. Through my fear and doubt, you will lead me out. You are always able. Through the darkest night, you are on my side. You are always faithful. Through
Let's begin listening to the story of Rebecca, the woman who relied on her own strength instead of trusting the Lord completely. Rebecca was the young wife of Isaac and the mother of Jacob and Esau. She was the daughter of Bethuel. When Isaac was a young boy, his father Abraham was looking for a bride for Isaac. So, Abraham sent one of his servants to the city of Nahor to find a suitable bride for Isaac. The servant looked everywhere in the city, but did not find one. He was tired and exhausted, so he sat near the well to rest. While he rested, he prayed to God that the next young woman who came to the well and gave him water to drink will be the girl chosen as Isaac's bride. As he prayed, Rebecca came to the well to get some water with a jar on her shoulder. She saw the servant tired and exhausted, so she offered him and his camel some water to drink and some food to eat. Immediately, the servant knew that Rebecca was the girl who God had sent to be Isaac's wife. The servant brought Rebecca to Abraham, and soon Isaac and Rebecca got married. Years went by, but Rebecca and Isaac had no children. Isaac prayed to God day in and day out without losing hope. Soon, God heard his prayers and blessed Rebecca with twins, Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau were the first twins mentioned in the Bible. Even before they were born, Rebecca could feel the both of them fighting inside her womb. She prayed to God, asking him the reason for the two brothers fighting all the time. To this, God said,
Rebecca, you are going to give birth to two nations. They are both inside you right now, and that's why they are at odds with one another. One shall be stronger than the other. The older will serve the younger.
Soon it was time for Rebecca to give birth. Esau was born first, who grew up to become Isaac's favorite son, while Jacob was Rebecca's. In those days, the practice was that the firstborn was always entitled to receive birthright. And since Esau was born first, he would have inherited the birthright. This saddened Rebecca. She loved Jacob and wanted him to have it. It was Jacob who tricked his own brother into selling him his birthright for a bowl of stew. Later, when Isaac grew old and he was on his deathbed and could not see, Rebecca helped Jacob to deceive Isaac into blessing him instead of Esau. She used goat skins on Jacob's hands to imitate Esau's hairy arms. Years later, a lot of things happened, and Esau was finally able to forgive Jacob. When Rebecca died, she was buried in the family tomb, a cave near Mamre in Canaan, which was also the resting place of Abraham, Sarah, and Isaac. Later, Jacob was also buried in the same tomb.
That was an amazing story, Holy. Thank you for telling us all about Rebecca.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Tubby.
The Holy Tales.
Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Hagar.
Yippee! It's story time!
Hagar was a young Egyptian woman who worked as a servant for Abraham and his wife Sarah. She lived in their house and did all the chores that she was asked to do and more. For a long, long time, Sarah couldn't have any children. So, Sarah asked for Hagar's help, and as per the practices of those days, the child which Hagar had would be credited to Sarah as the child's mother. Even though it was Sarah who herself had asked for Hagar's help, Sarah grew jealous of her and upset when Hagar had a son. angry, she threw Hagar and her son out of her house. Hagar and her son had no place to go. She went across mountains, walked through forests, and finally reached a desert. She was thirsty and exhausted, and so was the baby. She sat down on the ground and cried. Suddenly, in the middle of the desert, an angel appeared to her. The angel said,
My child, the Lord has promised a blessing on your son. However, you must name him Ishmael, which means God hears.
Hagar was shocked. She finally composed herself and said, The Lord is the only one who sees me. 14 long years passed. Ishmael had grown up to be a young boy. Hagar decided to visit Abraham and Sarah. When she went to visit them, she saw Abraham and Sarah had given birth to their own son. Once again, Sarah was very angry with Hagar. She shouted at her and said, We all know why you have come back here with your son. You are here to take a part of whatever Abraham has as your son's rightful inheritance. That is never going to happen. Leave right now and take your son with you. Leave. Once again, Hagar and Ishmael fled to the desert. Before they had left, Abraham had given them a bottle of water and some food for their journey. But soon that bottle was over. They were almost dying when God sent his angel to her. The angel appeared to her in the desert once again and said,
Do not be afraid. God shall protect you and your son. He has heard your crying. Don't you remember God's blessing?
Saying this, the angel disappeared. And to Hagar and Ishmael's surprise, spring water appeared in front of them in the middle of the vast desert. Hagar and Ishmael drank water from the spring, and they survived. Ishmael grew up and raised a whole nation. He had many descendants who were divided into 12 tribes, just as God had promised. So, children, that was the story of Hagar, another remarkable woman of the Bible who was known for her faith in God.
That was such a nice story, Holy. Hagar was such a strong woman.
Yes, no matter how difficult life became, she never lost faith in God.
The Holy Tales.
I was thinking of telling you the story of Queen Esther. We all remember Queen Esther, don't we?
Yes, I remember her. So do I.
Yes, I think I do a little too.
All right, let us all get together and hear the story of Queen Esther, who was a remarkable woman and a great example of faith and courage.
Whoa! Girl power! Yay!
Esther was a beautiful young woman and was raised by a man called Mordecai, who had taken her as his own daughter after both her parents had died. Esther was chosen to be the queen of King Xerxes. She was extremely beautiful and a very elegant woman. She was taken to the king's court, and the king immediately fell in love with her. However, the king was unaware of the fact that Esther was actually a Jewish woman. Mordecai had asked her to keep her family background and nationality a secret from the king. Esther did as she was told. All of the Jews who lived in Israel were all driven out of their country almost 70 years earlier, and all of them were exiled in Persia. Esther's stepfather, Mordecai, was a man of great dignity, and he refused to bow down to Haman, who was a very high official and an advisor to the king. Haman was a very arrogant man. He could not take Mordecai's disrespect towards him, and so he plotted against him to get him removed from the court. However, Esther soon found out about Haman's plan. She got to know that Haman was planning to kill Mordecai, and she needed to do something about it. But she feared going up to the king in his courtroom, because in those days, whoever entered the king's throne room without permission was put to death. So, Esther thought about another plan to confront the king. She prayed and fasted for 3 long days, and finally arranged for a banquet for the king and Haman alone. King Xerxes and Haman came for the elaborate banquet, and the king was extremely pleased with her arrangements. Queen Esther then gathered the courage and confessed all about her ancestry to her husband, and told him all about her being a Jew. King Xerxes loved his queen very much. He believed Queen Esther and was persuaded by her love for him. He decided not to punish her. Then Esther said, "If I have been able to please the king, and if he regards me with favor, then let him write an order ruling the death penalty of Haman, who is planning to destroy the Jews in the king's province." King Xerxes agreed to his wife and immediately ordered that Haman must be hanged in the same gallows which he had prepared for Mordecai.
Wow! That was such a clever move by Queen Esther to save her father and her people.
Yes, she was indeed a smart and wise woman. But most importantly, it was her faith in God which brought this wisdom upon her. Now, who wants to answer today's question and win some brownie points?
Me!
All right. So, today's question is, what was the name of the man who raised Queen Esther after her parents died?
Mordecai.
Excellent, Gumbo. You win a brownie point. These kids are super excited with the news story. Hope you enjoyed it too.